Hey everyone, Pastor Wes here with you on this gorgeous Wednesday afternoon. Hope your week is going well. We're jumping back into our study tonight, talking about this far-reaching faith. And we pulled a passage of Scripture that's very familiar to us as Christians from John chapter 11 and talking about the story of Lazarus. And I want to read through these verses one more time before we get going tonight. It says, "Now a certain man was sick named Lazarus of Bethany, the town of Mary and her sister Martha. It was that Mary which anointed the Lord with ointment and wiped his feet with her hair, whose brother Lazarus was sick. Therefore his sisters sent unto him, saying, Lord, behold, whom thou lovest is sick. When Jesus heard that, he said, This sickness is not unto death, but for the glory of God, that the Son of God might be glorified thereby. Now, Jesus loved Martha and her sister and Lazarus. When he had heard, therefore, that he was sick, he abode 2 days, still in the same place where he was. Then after saith he to his disciples, Let us go into Judea again. They sent for Jesus. We know that Jesus loved Mary, he loved Martha, he loved Lazarus, and they knew that Jesus loved him. They said, Whom thou lovest is sick. They sent for him, he doesn't come, and Lazarus dies. Sometimes, and this is hard for a lot of young Christians to understand. You begin to understand this later on, I think, in life when you walk with the Lord for some time. Sometimes while you are waiting on God, things die. All of a sudden, bad goes to worse, and then you go into a stage of release. And when I say a stage of release is the stage where you just let it go. You let everything go. You say, I've done all I know to do. I've prayed all that I can pray. I've prayed all I know how to pray. You didn't fix it. Here it is. You release it. You turn it over. You say, I'm through with it. I release it. And you must understand that release is very important for you to be able to operate in what we would call the arena of radical faith, because as long as you're holding on to the problem, God's not going to touch it. God's not going to put his hands on it as long as he sees you with your hands on it. And so as long as you think you can handle it, as long as you think you can fix it, you're just not eligible to receive a miracle or the miracle working power of God as long as you have your hands on it. You've got to turn it over to God. You've got to say, I've done all I can do. I've run out of money. I've run out of resources. I've run out of friends. I've run out of relationships. I release it to you. And that's what they did with Lazarus. And they said, we can't heal him. We can't fix him. We can't fix him. We prayed about it. He was sick. Now he's died. He's gotten worse. We release him. And when they release him over into the hands of God, they did it by burying him. That was signifying the fact that they had released him. They couldn't do no more with him, so they buried him. We can't fix it. We buried him is what they were saying. He's died. And whenever we've got a problem and we can't fix it, we've got to go on to the next step and roll the stone in front of it. You have to roll the stone. That's how you manage the messes that you can't fix in life. You roll the stone in front of it. You cover it up. And many things in life, you've done all you know how to do. I mean, you've believed as far as you know how to believe. Your faith has gotten you as far as it can take you, and you're still just stinking, okay? And when something starts stinking for survival's sake, you've got to roll the stone in front of it so that you can go on for survival's sake. You can't leave Lazarus laying around. Can't leave him laying out on the couch. He's going to start stinking worse than he is now. And when Jesus finally arrives, remember, he says that he was going to abide, or he abode 2 days later after the fact that he knew that he had already died. He stayed 2 more days where he was. Verse 32, Mary runs out to greet him. And she said, if you would have been here, my brother wouldn't have died. Now, what I want you to notice about that scripture and about those words is the revelation that Martha got, because she said, but I know that even now you have the power to raise him up again. And that's what I'm talking about. Radical faith says it's bad, he's stinking, there's all kinds of trouble, everything is a mess, but even now you've done everything that you know how to do. You've tried and everything else has failed, but it's not too late for God. Just because it has failed for you doesn't mean it's going to fail for God. He said this is going to glorify God. This is to lift up the Son of Man. And even now, you've got to say, I still believe. It doesn't matter what the circumstances look like. It certainly didn't in this situation. It didn't matter what the circumstances looked like. Everybody could see that Lazarus was dead, but it wasn't too late for God. You've got to say, and you've got to have something in you that radical faith produces or causes you to say, I still believe God. In spite of all the circumstances, in spite of everything that I see, in spite of all that I'm feeling, in spite of all the noise and what everybody else is saying, I still believe God. I still believe that He's going to do something with my daughter. I still believe He's going to deliver my son. I still believe that He's going to save my family. Radical faith digs down inside and says, no matter what the obstacles are, no matter what the circumstances may be, I still believe God. I still believe God through it all. We'll pick back up here next week. I hope you have a great rest of your week. Get out there and enjoy some sunshine before the rain hits. I love you, and God bless you.